As a youth, I was extremely troubled, and my parents were concerned about me because it was clear that I was heading down the wrong path. But looking back over my life, I can say that my parents played a huge role in my defiance because we model the behavior that we've been exposed to. When they got married, my mother was 5 months pregnant with me, and by the time I was born, just a few months later, the marriage was practically over. My mother suffered with mental illness, and my father was what I call a tortured soul. One day I was talking to my grandmother, and she said, "You know what, Michael? Society made your father the way he was. He was chased home every day. And one day I decided to lock the door on him. And I told him, look, you can't run home from these guys forever. You're going to have to stand up and fight for yourself." And that's what he did. You see, my father made a vow that he would no longer be bullied, and he stuck to that vow. But unfortunately, that vow would oftentimes get the best of him. What he wanted more than anything was a family, though. He loved my mother dearly, but that relationship just wasn't meant to be. So he remarried, but for some reason, he just could not let this marriage go. He held on to it. When I was 13 years old, my mother woke me up early on a Sunday morning, and she asked me to come downstairs. So I came downstairs. I sat down on the couch, but I noticed that my mother had this extremely somber look on her face. She said, "Michael, I'm sorry to share this with you, but your father died last night." Now, I was in a complete state of shock when I heard the news, so I couldn't respond right then and there. But I later learned that he went to pay his wife a visit with hopes of getting her to come home. He walked into the house, but he didn't walk out of the house because his wife's brother was there and shot my father 5 times. My father lived a tortured life that led to an early death at the age of 35. And that torture, it really stemmed from his upbringing. He wasn't aware of his ability to change, and I was not either. But 7 years ago, I had a son, and I was terrified because I didn't want him to be like me, nor my father. But when my son turned 2, I realized that I had to change in order to break the pattern so that he would have a brighter future and not become a tortured soul.
Good job. Well done. Well done. Grab your trophy. Finalist number 3, Mike House. Good job. Thank you.